Flagler County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
47 Wood Hollow Lane.
Wood Hollow? Okay, and what's going on there?
I think he hurt my mom.
Who's he?
I don't know. He was wearing one of those robber masks.
At around 7:45 on August 23, 2017, 22-year-old Nathaniel Schimmel made this call to Flagler County Emergency Services. Just minutes ago, Nathan's mother Michele was attacked in her home and stabbed to death with a kitchen knife. By 8:15 p.m, Sheriff Rick Staley assured the community that the attacker was not at large and a person of interest was cooperating with their investigation. Though police hadn't yet revealed their primary suspect was Nathan, there was no search underway for a masked assailant. By midnight, investigators began interviewing Nathan in pursuit of a confession.
You got any questions or anything about anything that we're doing? No? Have you ever been to a police department before? No. Alright. So,
from the outset, it's clear how disorganized this interview is. A clean desk won't make or break an interrogation, but the miscellaneous items that litter this one stand in stark contrast to the uncluttered interview rooms we typically see. Detective George Christokopoulos rifles through this stationery as he makes a feeble attempt at small talk, slipping into repetition and filler words which will characterize the early stages of this conversation. Having commenced this interview mere hours after the murder occurred, it's difficult to blame him for this fumbling. George must secure a confession from the suspect with no time to prepare and no knowledge of Nathan's personal, medical, or psychological history. Most notably, George is oblivious to the fact that Nathan has high-functioning autism, and how this bears on the suspect's seeming lack of emotion. To be clear, those on the autism spectrum are not cold or unfeeling. They experience the full range of human emotion, but may have trouble recognizing and managing these emotions in themselves and others. This can manifest as unconventional behavior in social interactions, making it difficult to analyze Nathan's body language and responses as one would with a neurotypical suspect. Lacking this knowledge, George's approach may...
Right from the start, the tragedy is almost unbearable to process. A young man calling for help after his own mother's death, while detectives are already zeroing in on him. What makes this case even more complex is Nathan's autism. Not an excuse, but a huge factor in how he communicates. This difference is critical because his flat tone and lack of reaction will be misread as coldness, even as he sits under suspicion for murder.
Approach may seem erratic at times.
do you react to anything?
What do you mean?
You don't react to anything.
But this case provides a unique window into the improvisational facets of interrogation and the problem-solving skills necessary to conduct an interview such as this. George will spend the following minutes examining the menial aspects of Nathan's life, probing for lies and emotional triggers that he can manipulate to his advantage.
I just want to make sure that I understand, because even though Detective Conrad is the primary on the case, I kind of sometimes I got my own questions that she might not ask or whatever, and honestly, just with all the running around, I don't even know exactly everything that she's asked you. So, can you tell me about your day today? Like, what was it like? Where were you today?
I was just at home on the computer.
What time did you get up?
Around 10.
10? Is that a normal time that you wake up?
Yeah.
Okay, so you wake up at 10. Do you wake up with an alarm clock, or you just wake up on your own?
Yeah, I wake up on the...
Okay.
For the next few minutes, George continues to ask Nathan more about his daily routine, who was over at the house that day, and what his mother, Michele, does for work. But more importantly, he steers the conversation towards the topic of Nathan's familial relationships.
Okay, so he left.
Mm-hmm.
Is he your biological dad?
Mm-hmm.
And she's your biological mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you and so dad gets thrown out, and he's automatically got a place to stay up in St. Augustine?
I think maybe, I don't know if he's keeping up with her. He's not currently employed.
Okay. All right, so he goes up in St. Augustine. How do you find out that he's staying in St. Augustine?
We've been there. Well, I've been inside, but we've been there
When
like
was the last time you were there?
two or 3 months, I think. I'm not sure.
When did he start renting that place?
A while ago. I don't know, maybe like half a year after they got divorced. I'm not sure.
I'm confused. I thought she kicked him out 2 weeks ago.
She did, but he had been staying over at the house for a while. She'd keep taking him out. He'd keep coming back.
So who else
Yeah.
lives in this place in St. Augustine?
No one, just him.
Okay. So is there a reason that he would rather be in Palm Coast? Or
He just wants to be here with her.
with who?
My mom.
Okay.
George eventually brings the line of inquiry to the topic of Nathan's father, driven by intuition to learn more about their relationship. Fielding questions unrelated to the murder itself puts Nathan further at ease, suggesting to him that the police are a long way from finding the truth. This is particularly effective given what we hear in the 911 call.
Okay. Do you know who could have done this? Does she have any enemies that you're aware of?
My dad, I think.
They've been having problems?
They're divorced, and she recently kicked him out.
Okay.
This call is one piece of evidence that George does have access to, so focusing on Nathan's relationship with his father is no accident. Remember, there's no manhunt underway at the time of this interview, so we know the police aren't seriously considering the father as a suspect. This line of questioning gives Nathan confidence in his lies, trapping him into an untenable story that will cripple any defense he puts forth in court.
How's your relationship with him?
Not very good.
Not
He, quote, was an alcoholic and was very verbally and occasionally physically abusive.
Like what? The police ever get called? No. Abusive towards who?
Yeah, everyone in general.
Yeah.
Verbally, at
Like
least.
what? Anything big or?
He just go on rants and keep yelling and get in your face.
Okay. But he hasn't been at your house. It's 47
Woodhull Lane.
Wood Hollow. He hasn't been at your house in about 2 weeks.
Not that I know of, no, not since she kicked him out.
Okay. So he hasn't been there. So you didn't expect to see your dad during the day or anything like that. Okay.
This particular exchange is noticeably repetitive. At this point, George has asked 4 times whether Nathan had seen his dad that day. But unlike his earlier fumbling for words, this repetition has a much clearer purpose. Just as open-ended questions probe for useful information, interrogators will often re-ask questions to identify changes in demeanor and body language. If George can find an emotional trigger to use, he can better steer this conversation toward a confession.
So tell me about the rest of your day. Uncle Greg comes over, does whatever.
She comes home eventually after that. She takes the dogs out, go to the bathroom, and she lets the cats out on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she left it unlocked. She usually locks it and keeps me out there.
Mm-hmm. She what?
She locks me out there. She doesn't want me coming in the house.
Who?
My mom.
Why?
She thinks I'm not looking for a job.
Okay, I'm confused. So she expects you to be out looking for a job during the day.
But since she locked me out of the house, I don't have any way of showering or getting changed or anything.
Okay, and how long has that been going on?
Like 2 or 3 days, I think.
Okay.
Here, we see the first glimpses of ongoing conflict between Nathan and his mother, and this tension had reached a boiling point by August of 2017. Nathan's mother had been hounding him to find stable work for years, confiscating his computer and TV privileges whenever she felt her demands weren't taken seriously. His friend, Christian Whitaker, would later comment that Nathan's attitude towards his family grew more antagonistic over time. And perhaps it was this hostility that motivated Michele to move his bedroom to the back porch. By casting his personal space outside, she would be able to lock Nathan out of the house, forcing him to spend time looking for a job rather than inside watching TV.
Have you tried to look for a job?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like where?
Usually over by the new renovated Publix area, and then over by the Target area.
Okay, where have you applied?
Just all around there. I've applied to GameStop, Target, Dollar Tree, all those places.
Okay. So, How do you, I mean, she just, I don't understand, when did she lock you out of the house?
Like 2 or 3 days ago. I'd been staying out on the porch for a while now, though.
You've been staying out on the porch for 2-3 days?
No, I've been locked out there. I've been staying over there for like maybe a couple of weeks.
Okay, so when she keeps you out on the porch, does she let you in after she gets home?
Not anymore. Not in the past 2 or 3 days.
How long has this happened?
Like 2 or 3 days.
Okay, so for 2 or 3 days you haven't been in your house?
Mm-mm.
You haven't showered?
No, I haven't gotten to.
Okay, is there a reason that maybe you didn't shower at like Christian's house or something like that?
We don't really hang out that much anymore.
No? Okay,
We hung out, I think, the day before yesterday, though, just for a little bit.
okay. All right, so you've been sleeping outside?
Yeah, out on the porch. I've got 2 fans.
That's kind of bullshit. And that's, I mean, is somebody trying to convince your mom to tell you to do that, or?
I don't know.
George pivots and latches onto this conflict, making the first of 3 major appeals, offering Nathan validation and encouraging him to express his resentment. George uses incredulous language to show Nathan they're on the same side, endorsing any anger he may feel towards his mother's absurd behaviour. The angle taken here makes sense. If George can make Nathan feel that his indignation is justified, and therefore that the murder was too, he'll be more easily pushed toward confession, perhaps even offering it freely for another taste of validation. Over the next few minutes, George will insert pauses into the conversation, goading Nathan into filling the silence with bitter complaints.
Did you guys discuss it at all? That's crazy.
She just said, you're not looking for a job, so you're going to be locked out there.
That's really, that's crazy.
Yeah, I guess.
So what do you tell her about that?
I just said, well, I am, but she's like, well, you don't have any proof of that you're going out.
Yeah, but like, I mean, how does she expect you to get a job if you can't go in the house?
I don't know.
Did you ask her that?
I tried to ask, but she just, basically, she's really stubborn, and she just wouldn't give a reason.
Okay. I mean, do you have anybody that you, like, kind of use to, like, I don't want to say use, but like for example, if I'm arguing with, my dad, I would use my mom or my brother, who has maybe a better relationship with him, and say, can you talk some sense in this guy? No. So there's just no talking to your mom?
I try, but she's kind of hard to talk to sometimes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Nathan doesn't bite. The closest he comes to playing along is admitting his mother could be stubborn. George then makes an effort to build rapport, sharing a personal anecdote about how he deals with conflict in his own family. Still, Nathan doesn't reciprocate by venting his own feelings, and this mild view of his mother is at odds with what police would later hear from Nathan's closest friend, Christian Whitaker.
When I first met, it was, oh, yeah, my mom's a little bit weird, this is my sister, she likes horses, and this is my dad, and became, my mom's a fucking idiot, my dad's abusive, and my sister's a bitch.
Nathan's hostility towards Michele was no secret to those around them, so it's unclear why he hides the nature of their relationship. Of course he understands that ill will towards his mother could be seen as a motive, so he's not so clueless as to start freely insulting her. Yet, he doesn't fully conceal this animosity, revealing that she's forced him to sleep outside. Acknowledging their strained relationship, while denying its severity, is a strange choice, one that draws attention to his unnerving acceptance of an incredibly harsh punishment. Keep this confusing attitude towards Michele in mind moving forward. For now, Nathan isn't giving George the emotional rise he's seeking.
This is where things take a darker turn. Nathan's relationship with his mother had become suffocating. Imagine being locked out of your own home by your own mom, punished like a child even as an adult. It's cruel, but it also paints the picture of a family at war inside their own walls. The seeds of resentment were already planted long before that night.
Detective George presses on, seeking other triggers to focus on.
All right. So, when your mom came home from work today, so she came home, what time?
I wasn't really paying attention at the time, probably around 5.
And you were on the back porch,
The entire day.
Okay. And the house is locked?
I think, as far as I know.
Okay. So you're on the back porch, your mom comes home at 5. Does she talk to you? Does anything?
No,
No conversation at all?
not really, no.
Okay. So then take me through what happens.
She, left the door locked, left the cats out. I guess she never locked it. Then
I thought you said the house was locked.
she is I'm talking about the porch door.
Oh,
for
the
me.
porch door.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
for the and before that, she'd taken the dog to go to the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
And then later, I heard her scream, and I went out into the living room and outside. And
How did you get to the living room?
the porch door was unlocked, so I opened it up and I went outside. The door was open. The front door.
Where did you hear the screaming from?
Somewhere in front of the house, either right by the door or outside.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So you hear some screaming, so you go into the house. Did any part of you think that it was inside the house?
No, it sounded like it was by the front door.
Okay. So it sounded like it was by the front door. So you go through the house. Can you draw roughly your house?
George realizes that verbally describing the logistics of the incident is difficult to follow, so he asks Nathan to draw an outline of what happened. This makes it easier for George to follow what he's being told, to find inconsistencies he can exploit, and to lock him into a story that can be later discredited. This tactic also makes it harder for Nathan to reasonably blame errors on his own awkward wording, and with this new advantage, George begins examining Nathan's account of his mother's murder.
Okay. Front line. Where's the road?
Right here is the driveway. It goes out, and the road's right here.
Which road is that?
That's the one that just goes straight.
What's the name
to
of it?
I'm not sure.
What's your address?
47 Woodhull Lane.
So is it Wood Hollow?
Probably, yeah.
Is there another road on the side?
I think Pine Lakes goes off to it, then it's Wood Home, I think, and then it goes off onto Wood Hollow.
Okay. So you've been staying back here? Okay. And how did you, when you heard the scream, what time was this?
I wasn't really paying attention to the time later after she had been home.
How long had she already been home?
Probably 2 or 3 hours, I guess.
Okay. So 2 hours maybe after she got home. She hasn't communicated with you?
Not really, she just let the dogs out.
Did you know that this door was unlocked? Okay.
She just unlocked it to let the cats out.
Okay. Did she tell you not to come in?
No, but I assumed I should if I heard screaming.
Okay,
so.
no problem. I'm just talking about before that.
Oh.
So before that, did she tell you not to come in? Oh, so you just stayed on the back porch? What were you doing on the back porch?
I was on my bed, on my computer, on my laptop.
Your laptop's on the back porch?
Mm-hmm.
You got a place to plug it in or something? Okay. What do you remember what website you were on?
I was watching something, a video.
Okay.
All
right. So you're watching a video here on the back porch. You hear the scream, and you felt it was coming from somewhere in the front. So you went through the house, through the living room. Okay. And then when you went through the living room, you went out the front door. And then when you walked out the front door, what did you see?
I saw him going off on the left, running away.
Show me the left.
Okay. From the house, this left, and then right.
Okay.
On the swale, right here is my car, and then him was he was past the driveway, so right about where all the houses are, like about to be past that, so he's like right here.
Okay. So he's here,
Mm-hmm.
and where was your mom?
She was on the lawn, like right in the middle by the tree.
Right in the middle by the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this guy was wearing what?
He was wearing those ski masks, and that's really all they...
Okay. So he was wearing
That's the robber masks.
rubber mask.
Yeah.
Okay. And you see her by the tree.
Mm-hmm.
How was she laying?
She was like on her back like this. I don't know what her arms are, but she has a knife like right in kind of like the top of her back or something.
The top of her back,
Mhm.
sticking out.
Yeah,
Okay.
like here's the handle.
Okay. So you see that, and he's how far away from her is he?
Quite a distance. He was like right about to round the corner where all the other houses are.
Uh-huh.
So he was booking it.
He was booking it.
Yeah, he was running.
So you saw which part of him?
Like the back.
The back.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't see the face. Okay. Could you tell if he was white or black or Hispanic or no? Okay.
He was tall and kind of muscular.
George has been asking straightforward, close-ended questions. How was she laying? How far away from her is he? He uncritically accepts each answer Nathan provides, offering little more than okay before moving on to the next question. In turn, Nathan is becoming gradually more engaged, now animated by hand movements and offering unrequested details, like the height and the build of the attacker. Focusing on the paper and the physical act of drawing adds a degree of separation between him and the questions, likely contributing to how comfortable he seems at present. But George's shift to questioning Nathan's inner thoughts ushers the spotlight away from the murder scene and back onto Nathan himself, signaling that George is preparing for a confrontation.
So you see this, and what goes through your mind?
I went over to her and I asked if she was okay, and I went to pull the knife out, but
What'd she
I
say?
stopped. She didn't say anything.
Uh-huh.
So I went to pull the knife out and I stopped, and I don't know if I should do that. And then I got in my car and I went to Christians, and then I called 911.
Okay. So when you got in your car to go to Christians,
Yeah.
why? My main question is why wouldn't you call 911 from your house?
I wanted to make sure I was safe before I did it.
Okay. So what went through? I mean, were you concerned about being safe when you went up to her?
I don't know, I was just in a blind panic.
A blind panic.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try to turn her over or no?
No,
No. Was she making any sounds? No.
no.
And what was he doing?
He was running away.
Towards a car or
I
what?
don't know, he was just like going around the corner.
Okay. So, I guess I don't understand not calling 911 from that point. I mean, even as you're driving.
George has questioned Nathan's actions when it came to dealing with his parental conflicts, but this is the first time he scrutinizes his logic at the murder scene. Why didn't he call 911 right away? Typically, this would be an immensely helpful question. An innocent person may be identified if they're offended by the topic. They're not guilty after all, so of course they have a good reason, and would be appalled to have their actions questioned. On the other hand, there's no direct accusation, so it's unlikely to undo a detective's work to lower a guilty suspect's guard. In fact, a guilty person anticipates this question, and is more likely to deliver a prepared, needlessly detailed explanation. Let's see if Nathan responds as anticipated.
I don't know, I had to make sure I was safe before I called. I didn't want to call while driving because I thought I might crash into something.
Okay. So you called after you got there. How far is it from your house?
It's like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Much to George's dismay, Nathan's reply is both brief and calmly delivered. George fumbles at this roadblock and quickly retreats to the safety of informational questions. With this confrontation a failure, he must preserve Nathan's willingness to talk until another opportunity opens. In the meantime, he'll be looking for any holes in Nathan's story that he can exploit.
So, did you try any type of CPR or anything like that? No. Okay. So, where was there blood in front of your house?
There was blood in, like, before the front door, I think. I thought there was blood outside where she was.
There was blood in front of the front door?
Yeah.
Okay. So you walked through the blood?
I got some off when I got to Christian's.
Okay. How did you get it off?
I rinsed it off.
Okay. Using what?
Just water and a towel.
Okay. All right. All right. So when you went up to your mom, what exactly did you do?
I like went down the ground and I kind of moved her to see if she was okay, and she didn't say anything. I like yanked on the knife, but I didn't know if I should pull it out.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think during when I was running through by the front door, I think I lost my glasses, but I had an extra pair.
You had an extra pair on you?
Yeah. Well, in my car, yeah.
Okay.
George hasn't found any statements to build a confrontation on yet, so he goes out on a limb, asking Nathan if there's anything else he did when he found Michele's body. Surprisingly, this actually draws some unprompted details from Nathan. At some point during the incident, his glasses fell off. This provides useful insight into Nathan's capacity to deceive, as it shows an awareness of evidence he's left behind, and the necessity to explain this away. His explanation is flimsy, but unfortunately, George doesn't pick up on the opening that this provides. He fails to confront Nathan about how his glasses fell off while simply running through a door, let alone how he could have seen the fleeing attacker's clothing and physique.
Okay. So when did you put on the extra pair?
In my car.
In your car on the way to Christian's?
Yeah.
Okay. So try to take the knife out.
Mm-hmm.
Which hand do you use?
I use both, but mostly this one.
Mostly the right hand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're ambidextrous?
Slightly.
Slightly? Okay. All right. So when you went to grab the knife,
Mm-hmm.
did you grab it like this? You grab it like this?
I think I grabbed it like that.
Okay. Did you pull it out?
Not completely, no.
No. How far out?
A little more than halfway, I'm not sure.
Okay. So was your mom? She wasn't making any sound. Was she breathing or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Did you check her pulse? Okay. And so when time is of the essence,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy's already ran away,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over not calling 911.
I didn't know what to do.
Have you ever called 911 before?
Mm-hmm.
Never?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, all right. All right. All right, just give me a second.
He takes the diagram Nathan drew and leaves the interview room. As he regroups with the rest of his team, Nathan is left alone to dwell on the fact that his lies, fixed by his own hand on yellow paper, have now been collected as evidence.
All right. Can I see the scratches on your arm?
Oh. You mean this?
George re-enters the interview room 30 minutes later. His mood and strategy have made a palpable change as stage 2 of this interview commences. Whereas he previously let the door swing shut on its own, he now pushes it closed until it audibly locks. The detective lets his arm fall to his side in a show of exasperation, and this stern persona offers no preamble before confronting Nathan. It's clear that this second phase is intended to scare Nathan, to escalate his anxiety until he cracks. George stands uncomfortably close, physically intimidating Nathan as he asks about scratches on his arm. These scratches are a piece of physical evidence that drags Nathan back to the scene with his mother, and the intense distress he would have felt at that moment. This confrontation is strengthened by George's certainty. Where before his questions seemed random and without conviction, now the detective knows exactly what he wants, and Nathan would be wise to fear whatever plan he seems to have.
When I was laying against the cones in the police car, it was when I was lying against the cones in the police car, I think.
Those are scratches.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Swear.
As you might expect of Nathan at this point, he mumbles some vague story about them being marks from a cone he leaned on in the police car. George doesn't yet assert that the scratches came from Michele, but is quick to call Nathan out for this ridiculous explanation. He won't let his suspect deny that they are indeed scratches, and will go on to shoot down similarly inane excuses each time Nathan offers them. Recounting lies aids the confidence of a guilty person, and with this new tactic to feed into Nathan's anxiety, that isn't something George can permit.
You know what I think is kind of a strange thing? Is that we've been dealing with you for how many hours now? Do you know how many hours it's been? Okay. Do you know how many times you've asked any of us how your mom's doing? No? Are you going to ask?
George's tone is undeniably aggressive now. This is no longer a conversation to help the police simply understand a timeline. This is the police dealing with an inconvenient liar. He punctuates this dismissive language by removing his tie and tossing it aside, before again confronting Nathan's actions and character. What kind of son wouldn't ask about the well-being of his mother?
I'm afraid to know. I don't want to know.
Huh?
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know? Why?
I guess she might not be okay.
Tell me what you mean by that.
I don't want to know if she's okay or not, because she might not be.
What makes you say that?
Before Nathan finishes muttering a response, George rudely interjects. This interruption, alongside George's fidgeting, may have made the detective appear disinterested and unprofessional before, but now, this behaviour conveys how little respect he has for Nathan, and how unswayed he is by the suspect's lies. Of course, there's also the bonus effect of distracting Nathan from his train of thought, making it harder for him to keep track of how he should respond to this new barrage of questions.
I saw her, she didn't look okay.
Describe that.
She didn't. There's a lot of blood.
Okay. So a lot of blood. I mean, what does that mean?
No, there's a lot of blood.
Where was the blood?
All around her.
Uh-huh. And you only touched the knife?
I bent down and I touched her to see if she was okay, and she didn't say anything.
Uh-huh. So rather than call 911, you got in your car
Yeah,
and you drove how many miles?
I think half a mile, it's not that far.
And then they had to tell you to call 911. Because I've been sitting here and listening to your excuses and whatever you're saying. And it's gotten a little bit aggravating, especially when you haven't asked once how she's doing, which I think is strange. I mean, you're 23 years old, 22 years old. Your mother raised you. And you don't want to know how she's doing?
George is ready to try out this interrogation's second appeal, targeting Nathan's sense of shame. More specifically, George attacks Nathan's apparent lack of emotion and concern for his mother, and his mistake is obvious right away. Autism can impede one's ability to express emotions in a conventional way, so shaming Nathan isn't going to strike a chord if he does, if only inwardly, feel grief over the death of his mother. If there was any doubt that her murder weighed on him, his friend Christian's testimony douses that.
I would bet my life on the fact that he was not emotionless. He was not a robot. I would not call him a sociopath.
Of course, George lacks Christian's understanding of Nathan's past and personality, so as far as he knows, he just needs to apply more pressure to get a reaction from Nathan. To this end, George will adopt the tone of a stern parent or teacher, and through this, he will position himself as an authority figure that one should respect and obey, and whose judgment Nathan should take seriously.
I think you know how she's doing. I think that's the problem. I think you know how she's doing.
Is she okay?
Why don't you tell me?
I don't know. Why would I know?
You don't know? You don't want to know.
No, I don't.
So then why'd you ask me?
Because you said,
Okay. Your mom's dead.
Abruptly and with no sympathy, George announces that Nathan's mother is dead. Hoping is now applied enough pressure to prompt a lapse in Nathan's composure, George pauses, waiting patiently for his suspect to yield.
You already knew that, though.
But Nathan doesn't yield. He murmurs the word she, but after 30 excruciating seconds, George is the one to interrupt this standoff. At the very least, he uses this as an opportunity to reinforce his hostility, accusing Nathan of already knowing that his mother had died.
That's why you don't ask. Do you know how many times everybody else asked me? Everybody else asked me. Except for you. You got nothing to say. I'm not even done telling you the crazy shit. So fucking brace yourself.
After more tense periods of silence, George lets Nathan know that he's not off the hook yet. He may not have conceded, but the detective has an arsenal of emotions.
This is one of the hardest parts to watch. The detective is pushing shame, demanding emotion, but doesn't realize Nathan's autism makes typical displays of grief almost impossible. The danger here is tragic irony. Investigators think silence equals guilt, when sometimes it's just how someone processes the world. But in this case, Nathan really was guilty, and his silence only deepened the suspicion.
Of emotional triggers and evidence still to throw his way. George must hope that the anticipation of this evidence heightens Nathan's sense of dread.
but
Do you know what high velocity blood spatter is? You don't? You have high velocity blood spatter on your shirt.
you know,
Yeah, you do.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. It means the blood hit your shirt at a high rate of speed.
Why would it?
What?
Why would it do that?
There's only one reason that it would do that.
Well,
Listen, man. You're making me lose my patience. Okay? There's only one reason that there would be high velocity blood spatter on your shirt. And that's you standing right next to your mother when she got stabbed.
I wasn't.
But you were. But you were. And that's why she scratched you on the arm. And guess what? Your DNA and your skin is going to be under her fingernails. Huh?
Why would it be though?
I just told you because she scratched you.
Like just from the cone in the car though?
That is not from a cone. Those are scratches.
No. Don't look like that.
You don't know?
Like a teacher confronting a delinquent student, he asks why Nathan's chest had been sprayed with his mother's blood. By explaining how incriminating this class of blood spatter is, and insisting that Nathan's DNA is under his mother's nails, George entraps him, without directly saying that Nathan killed Michele. The detective reveals his team has scientific, irrefutable evidence that he is lying about how she died. Tragically, George's suspicions are correct. On the evening of August 23rd, Michele returned home from her job as a medical assistant to find Nathan playing video games on his laptop. With Nathan unable to show evidence he'd looked for work that day, an argument ensued. The pair stood in the kitchen, mother berating son, shouting at him to look at me when I'm talking to you. Bitter and frenzied, Nathan found himself reaching for a large kitchen knife. At around 7:30 p.m, he stood before his mother as he plunged the knife into her neck, then her chest, and finally her back. Nathan fled to Christian's house, where the family convinced Nathan to call authorities, all while Nathan's mother bled to death in their front yard, the knife still jutting out of her body.
So, I tell you that your mother's dead. Let that sink in for a second.
No.
Yeah?
Oh. Didn't an ambulance pick her up?
No, an ambulance didn't pick her up. Do you know why an ambulance didn't pick her up?
Why?
Because she was dead. Because when you left her, she was dead, and you didn't call anybody. You just got in your fucking car and drove a couple of miles away.
So she could have been...
And you've got high velocity blood spatter all over your shirt. You got scratches on her arms. Tomorrow, her fingernails are going to have your skin underneath them because you guys got into it. You guys got into it.
The idea that Michele could have been saved if an ambulance was called causes a shift in Nathan's posture. His awkward movement as he leans on the desk may give the impression he's faking this reaction, or playing it up as part of an innocent facade, but he certainly hasn't bothered with false displays of emotion until now. George appears to credit this change to his tactic of shaming, drawing focus back to Nathan's lack of reaction to his mother's death and his failure to get help. The goal is for the suspect to perceive themselves as morally reprehensible for not only causing the victim's death, but lacking the courage to own up to it. They should feel equally certain their guilt will be found out, and this is a common setup that presents confession as the only positive outcome. A suspect can't deny their guilt, but they can salvage their integrity.
Why would I do that?
I don't know, man. Maybe because you're sleeping on the back porch for the last 3 days.
Well, I thought she'd eventually let me in, though.
Well, maybe she wouldn't.
Throughout this interview, Nathan will continue to ask why he would do what George is accusing him of. Perhaps he's not even sure of the answer himself, but the detective is ready to offer a logical motive. He suggests Michele's severe punishments could have triggered the fight. There are parts of this conversation that almost feel like a train of thought in Nathan's own head. He figured his mother would eventually let him back inside, but George plays the role of Nathan's pessimism, retorting that maybe she wouldn't. If the detective can correctly infer Nathan's motive, identify his lies, and recount his very thought process, there's no way he can maintain the delusion that he'll get away with his mother's murder.
You've also identified the knife that's in her back.
Yeah.
That you didn't remove but touched.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That knife doesn't look like it's budged an inch out of her back.
Really?
Yeah. So, do you want to try again and tell me what happened tonight?
I already told you, though.
Okay. Tell me one more time. Humor me.
From where? When I was on the porch, or?
Yeah, you were out on the porch and you heard screaming.
I was on my porch on my computer.
Sure.
I heard screaming. The porch was unlocked, so I opened it, and I, at some point, lost my glasses while looking. I went out through the front door, which was already open. I went down to her. The guy was already making way past the driveway where the turn is.
You're still sticking with the guy?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
George sliding his chair closer to Nathan shows a disconcerting level of attentiveness, one which threatens to find any slip-up or contradiction. As if his disdain could be any clearer, he interjects by asking if Nathan is pressing on with his narrative of a mysterious masked killer, making it abundantly clear he's no longer taking this version of events seriously. George tells him to continue with this story anyway, emphasizing that it doesn't matter how many times Nathan offers this lie, it's not becoming any more believable.
Okay.
Keep going.
I bent down and I asked her if she was okay, and she didn't say anything. And I tried to bite the knife, but I didn't know if I should move it or not.
So then why touch it?
I don't know. I was scared.
Where'd you recognize the knife from?
It looked like one of ours.
Oh, it looked like one of yours.
Yeah, we have a kitchen knife thing.
So a knife that came out of your house, right, that you walked through, did you walk past it, where the knives are?
Well, the kitchen was over there, so yeah, I don't look at it.
Okay, so you walked out, you walk through the house, you walk out front, and you see her and the mystery man standing at the end of the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are scared of you're scared of the mystery man, right?
Yeah.
But you develop immense courage for several seconds and you run up to your mom, just long enough to get your DNA on her, right? And on the knife.
Well, at that time, it was already far away.
I get that, man, and that's why your fucking story makes no sense.
As George assaults Nathan with logical inconsistencies in his account of events, all Nathan can do is limply state that he can't explain it. In reality, what he says is reasonable. No one truly knows how they would act in such a horrifying situation, so presenting Nathan's behaviour as wholly unbelievable is a bluff on George's part. But Nathan doesn't know this, and the accusations are becoming more explicit. Even if trauma can account for some of Nathan's unusual behaviour, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one.
He was already far away. You have no reason to not call the police. But yet you told us on a sworn statement, you tell us that you went to your friend's house because you're scared of the masked mystery man.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure the neighbor's surveillance cameras got a glimpse of this masked mystery man too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Which neighbor?
I don't know, where is the surveillance camera?
Okay. So, you weren't scared anymore, but then what happened? So you walk up to the knife, you grab it, right?
Yeah.
How do you get high velocity blood spatter on your shirt?
I don't know.
How? Just give me something, man. Don't just give me I don't know.
I don't know though.
You can't tell me how some of this blood splattered all over your shirt. You do this, and you hit, right? The blood spatters, okay? That's how it works. Do you know what fucking physics is? That's how it works. If you're standing on the back porch and somebody else stabs your mother, that blood doesn't end up on your shirt. So explain to me why your mother's blood is splattered at a high velocity. Are you just trying to piss me off? I don't understand.
George comes dangerously close here to intimidating a suspect, as his threatening demeanour and violent gestures could be interpreted as a threat to Nathan's safety. This outburst isn't just for show. Telling Nathan he's frustrated and angered by his lies serves the disappointed, authoritative persona George maintains. But the detective also seems genuinely taken aback by Nathan's audacity, particularly when he agrees his neighbour's security cameras must have captured the imagined murderer. It's possible this aggression is another attempt to make Nathan have an emotional outburst of his own, but George knows that any confession will be excluded from trial if obtained by intimidating, threatening, or using violent force against a witness. So the detective reins it in, once again pivoting his approach.
You're making up bullshit over and over. You're digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole, man. You're digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole. Every lie you tell is digging you a deeper and deeper hole. If something happens at the spur of the moment, bam, something happens, spur of the moment. You react on impulse. That's different. But once you start lying about something, and once you start making up invisible, masked people who don't exist, that's when you get into even deeper trouble. None of that makes any sense to you? Just tell me how the blood gets flung all over your shirt. Tell me. Because nothing in your story explains any of that.
I don't know.
Did you do CPR?
No.
You didn't do CPR.
No.
Do you know how to do CPR?
Mm-mm.
No. Why didn't you run to a neighbor's house?
I don't know.
Why haven't you still reacted since I've told you that your mother's dead? You still haven't reacted.
There's no way.
She's dead.
This next angle is a familiar one. George suggests the murder could have been an impulsive, unintentional thing. This kind of an act can be understood, even forgiven, if it's something Nathan didn't have full control over. George wants Nathan to believe he does have control now over the outcome of this interview. Once again, it's the lying, the failure to own up to one's mistakes, that would make him irredeemable. The detective takes another pause, waiting for some sign that he's pushed Nathan closer to confession.
Oh.
Yeah, she is. She's dead. Never coming back. Never gonna say another fucking word to you. But she knows what you did. She knows what you did.
She's got me in the hospital.
What?
She's got me in the hospital or something.
She's not in the hospital, my man. She's dead.
After getting caught up in Nathan's lack of emotion once more, George seems to realise that before Nathan can stop denying his culpability, he must accept the fact that his mother is dead. It's much easier for him to keep lying if he labours under the delusion that she's still alive, and believing she's okay offers George no leverage. So forcing Nathan to confront this reality becomes a priority as the detective presses onwards. How could he admit to his mother's murder if he can't even accept that she's dead?
Oh.
She's dead. What's her name?
Michele?
Michele what?
Schimmel?
Michele Schimmel.
Yeah.
So you can tell me her name, Michele Schimmel, and I'm telling you that she's dead, and you don't have any nothing?
There's no way she's dead.
Yeah? Why do you think we're doing all this, man? Huh?
I don't know.
Why do you think we're here?
Try to find out who did it.
There's only one person with blood spatter all over their shirts. You know who it isn't? Your dad. Your dad doesn't have anything on his shirt. Your dad doesn't have any crazy stories.
He doesn't have any shirts in his truck or anything?
No. Just you, with blood all over your toes, with scratches on your arm. You lost a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah? You got a stretch on your V-neck.
That's a V-neck.
I know what a V-neck is. You got blood, your mom's blood, your dead mother's blood on your chest. You've still got your dead mother's blood on your chest right now.
Jeez.
What do you want to see, pictures?
No.
Huh?
No.
George forces Nathan to say his mother's name. He reminds Nathan that it's not simply his mother's blood on his chest, but his dead mother's blood. Finally, he compounds this assault by offering to show Nathan photos of her bloody body, objective proof that she is indeed deceased. The detective uses every trick at his disposal to strike an emotional trigger.
By now, the interrogation feels like psychological warfare. Photos, accusations, unrelenting pressure, it's almost unbearable. And yet George is right. The blood evidence, the inconsistencies, the scratches, they all point back to Nathan. What's chilling is watching a detective balance on the razor's edge between lawful pressure and coercion.
And his efforts to overwhelm Nathan pay off, as a rising sense of dread bleeds into his voice.
If you didn't think she was dead, you wouldn't have left, my man. You would have called 911. If you didn't think she was, you already knew what I told you. You didn't even flinch. I've been doing this shit for 12 years, man. I've dealt with the hardest gangsters in Flagler County. And when these dudes find out that their mother passes away, or their family member, they react. Gangsters who've been killing people, shooting people since they were little. You, though, I'm telling you right now that you got your dead mother's blood on your chest. I'm telling you that you got high velocity blood spatter from your mother on you. Tomorrow, they're going to tell us that your DNA, your skin, is under her fingernails.
Won't go.
Huh?
No. Sure.
Did she scratch you earlier in the day?
No.
So you're going to maintain that you got scratches from a human being on your left arm from leaning up against a cone. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? Explain that to me. Because that's just like the fucking science with the blood spatter with you. So explain to me how that happens. Tell me, I'm listening.
I was just leaning up against the cone in the car.
Do you react to anything?
What do you mean?
You don't react to anything. You're not. You're not. You're just in here stone cold, like you don't give a fuck about anything I'm telling you.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Would you not say that I'm laying some heavy shit on you right now? Or maybe you deal with harder shit when you're playing World of Warcraft. I don't
I
know.
don't play that.
Huh?
I don't play that.
Okay, whatever you play. How'd you get the scratch on your face?
Well, what scratch?
There's a scratch on your cheek.
Is there?
Yeah.
Uh,
Is that from the cone too?
no, I wasn't. I don't think I laid my head against it.
Uh-huh. Alright, so let's go through this one more time. You're sitting on the back porch because your mom won't let you in the house. You've been sitting on the back porch basically for 3 days, right? Okay. Do you hear a scream? You hear a scream, right? From the time that you hear the scream until the time that you make it to your mother, how long does it take?
I don't know. It was moving pretty fast.
Fast? Okay. Moving pretty fast?
Yeah.
From the back of the house to the front of the house, what does that take? 7 seconds? 8 seconds?
Mhm.
I mean, Jesus Christ, man. A dead fucking animal is twitching for longer than 10 seconds after it's been shot right in the head. But you're telling me that from the time you went from the back, you heard the scream, you immediately got up, you walked to the front, you walked to where your mother is, while this masked person ran away. But here's the other thing. What was this guy wearing?
I don't know, I had my glasses off. He was just wearing one of those robber masks. What they're called.
Wearing a robber mask.
The focus on Nathan's stone-cold demeanour remains ineffective, even as George attempts to unsettle his suspect by comparing him to a violent gangster. George returns to pulling apart Nathan's story, seeking ammunition that might increase the pressure to confess. But it's clear he's lost his sense of direction. In the middle of discrediting Nathan's timeline, he abruptly switches to asking what the killer was wearing. When Nathan responds, it's as though George forgot the point he intended to make. So the detective shifts again, this time returning to DNA evidence. If he is to get a confession out of Nathan at all, George must get this interrogation back on track.
Okay. But there's not going to be any foreign DNA on that knife. What?
Was he wearing gloves or?
Huh?
Was he wearing gloves or?
He doesn't exist. That person doesn't exist. I just don't know why you keep going with it.
There's surveillance footage though.
Okay, and there was nobody. I said, what is the surveillance footage going to show?
It's gonna show him though.
It's going to show him.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that there's nobody else.
You hope. It's not true.
It is true. There's nobody else. All the evidence points to one person. And that person is sitting in this room with me. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
What am I telling you?
You said that I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't though.
Okay. But you can't explain all the science that points to you doing it. Do you believe in magic?
No.
No? Well, I mean, that's about the only other way, right?
If George can't get Nathan to admit he killed his mother, or even that she's dead at all, maybe he can start with a smaller admission and steer Nathan towards these larger denials. He attempts to pursue this end, telling Nathan that his DNA will be the only sample found on the murder weapon, but the reason for this isn't that the killer was wearing gloves. It's because the masked attacker doesn't exist. By now, George freely states that he believes Nathan committed the murder, and soon after admits he doesn't know how Nathan stands by such a groundless story. No matter the scientific evidence or emotional appeals the detective throws his way, Nathan continues his monotone bluffing. At this point, all parties would be relieved if this crime could be blamed on magic so that this whole ordeal could be finished and filed away. But of course, reality is never so easy. George will persevere with this battle of attrition for another hour, whittling down his suspect's resolve whilst Nathan remains intently in denial. A notable exception to this strategy is when George tries to lower the gauge of admission. If Nathan isn't going to offer any other explanation, then perhaps George needs to take the initiative and create a new story that his suspect is more comfortable admitting to.
Do you think maybe that something happened and it got taken out of hand? Do you think something went out of hand? Maybe that's what happened. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you and your mom get into an argument, and then you try to scare her, and it gets carried away. Maybe she hits you. I don't know. Maybe she hits you and you react on instinct.
No, she hit me.
Huh?
She wouldn't hit me though.
She wouldn't hit you?
No.
George's wording here, "Do you think maybe something happened?" invites Nathan to imagine some scenario where his mother takes more of the blame, where he was reactive, not malicious. His denial could be stemming from how abhorrent his crime was. So George introduces moral ambiguity, making the pill of confession easier to swallow. But even this bait isn't appealing enough for Nathan to grasp. He refuses another opportunity to vent about his mother, instead going out of his way to assert that she would never hit him. Nathan's confusing relationship with Michele re-enters the spotlight, and if we look again at Christian's testimony, we see that this isn't the first time Nathan has had to seriously consider his mother's integrity and even her love for him.
I'm going to agree with you on that she cared a lot for him. And it had always been a point of contempt between he and I, just the way he talked about his family. He hated his father, he hated his sister, he hated his mom. And I mean, it was in not so well-formed terms, but just always badmouthed them. They're so stupid, you know how they are. And to a point, you kind of had to agree with them. They were very controlling and you could say unreasonable at times, but they were good people.
When we complain about personal issues, it's easy to slip into hyperbole. It's no stretch to assume Nathan exaggerated when venting to Christian, or didn't present his friend with the whole truth. The two were a source of comfort for each other when it came to struggles with their families, so Christian's understanding of Nathan's family dynamic would no doubt be skewed towards the negative. All of this to say, even if Nathan rejected Christian's advice, refused to acknowledge that his mother was coming from a loving place, deep down he may yet have believed she cared for him. This knowledge, and the guilt that stems from it, seems to be the root of Nathan's denial, and his refusal to lay the blame on Michele. Of course, this doesn't negate his culpability either. So George wields this information to make his third and most effective appeal. He confronts Nathan with his mother's perspective, her anguish at his betrayal.
Why are you crying?
No,
Why are you crying?
no, she's not dead.
Yeah, she is dead.
No.
She is dead. She's dead. That's the shit that you did. That's what you did to her. She raised you and you killed her. Yeah? That's exactly what happened. You grabbed a kitchen knife and you stabbed your own mother in the fucking back. What kind of person fucking stabs their own mother in the fucking back? Huh?
Nathan has finally cracked. For the first time, he's the one to break the silence with his crying. But earning the emotion he's been seeking won't lessen George's attack on his guilty conscience.
There's blood all over the inside of the house too, right the front. Blood all over the inside. She's cut up pretty bad. But you know that. You know that. And you know that because you were there. weren't on the back. You were right there. Something happened, and in the spur of the moment, you lashed out. And there's no masked guy. You know how I know that? Because shit like that doesn't happen. She scratched you, man. She scratched you. You probably didn't even notice it. Are you an evil person? I don't know. But an evil person would sit here knowing that their mother's watching them from above, desperately trying to understand how a child that she raised and probably sacrificed more than you could imagine killed her. And tomorrow or the next day on the newspaper, when there's your face and it says that you killed your mother on the newspaper and gave no remorse, barely shed a fucking tear, and, you know, it is what it is.
Nathan, with his head cradled in his hands, has cut off any visual stimulation from George. In order to remind his suspect that he's awaiting a response during each pause, George paces back and forth, each step an audible reminder of passing time and building pressure. When he still doesn't reply, George drags back the image of the betrayed mother watching over him, desperate to know why Nathan quite literally stabbed her in the back. Nathan violently shakes his head when he hears of how the media will depict him, unable to stand the idea that they'll think he didn't love her. But George knows a way for Nathan to redeem his character, and to make his true feelings known, he must convince Nathan that the only path to this redemption is through confession.
Let it out, man. It's gonna eat you alive. It's going to eat you alive. You should be ashamed of yourself, man. Your mother's up there. And you can't even admit to what you did. It's going to feel a lot better once it comes out. It's going to feel a lot better. And then we can work. We can work together on trying to patch things up. I'm listening. I'm just going to sit here and listen. Nate. Come on. Come on, man. Are you religious? Are you religious? This is a very evil thing that happened today, Nate. It's not? Tell me.
Nathan knows all too well that his guilt is going to eat him alive. He can barely grapple with it now, and it's been just hours since the murder. His mother is watching over him, and if that wasn't enough, George reminds him that God will be just as eager to judge Nathan for his sins. He may not be able to undo his actions, but George has made it clear that coming clean will relieve this remorse. With the ability to salvage his integrity and release his immense guilt, it will take just a small kindness from his interrogator to finally break Nathan's resolve.
Tell me. What happened? What happened? What happened? Nate, what happened? What happened, Nate? All you can do, man, is ask God for forgiveness, man. Yeah. Tell me what happened. It's okay. Let it out, man. What? What happened? It was an accident. I didn't mean to.
Unable to make visual contact with Nathan, George finally earns his confession with comforting, physical contact. It's usually safer to avoid touching a suspect, as they and their defense may choose to present this as intimidation down the line. The court may see it that way as well, but in this case, the detective's intent is undeniably non-threatening. The softening of George's stern, authoritative demeanour appeals to Nathan's intense regret. He doesn't want to have done this, but the detective has created an environment where he can and must confront his actions.
You didn't mean to. No. How did it happen? It's okay. Just talk to me. You did the right thing. How did it happen? I figured that, man. I didn't think to. Okay, alright. It's okay.
George goes on to affirm Nathan's grief, assuring him that he's done the right thing, in turn enhancing the relief his confession provides. George promises Nathan that this was the hardest part, and it will take little encouragement from the detective for Nathan to offer up more details and strengthen the prosecution's case. Nathan will be indicted on a charge of first-degree murder. On December 16th, 2020, after 3 years of pandemic-related delays, he'll plead no contest to a reduced charge of second-degree murder. He's sentenced to 50 years in prison and a lifetime of probation. Even once eligible for release in 2060, Nathan will be subject to random, warrantless searches for the rest of his days. He'll be prohibited from visiting bars, forced to comply with random drug testing, and liable to pay the costs of his probation supervision. His life will never truly return to normal, but no degree of punishment will bring back Michele, or heal the wounds of those who loved her and Nathan. Nathan's sister Ilana was just 19 at the time of the murder. Since that night in 2017, she hasn't found the strength to return to her family home, or to speak to her older brother. To honour her mother, Ilana planted a shoe-mud red oak at the Florida Agricultural Museum in Palm Coast. The two used to volunteer there together, and the shrine she's built has become a space where she and others can talk to her mother and remember her.
In the end, Nathan confessed. He was sentenced to 50 years, his life essentially erased. But for his sister Ilana, the punishment doesn't heal anything. Her tribute to their mother, planting a tree at a museum they loved, is the most human part of this story. It reminds us that true justice isn't about punishment. It's about remembering those we lost and carrying their memory forward.